Good morning again, and welcome to the second part of video session for unit number 6, that is multimedia data compression. So in continuation with the earlier video session, so we have started with the multimedia data compression, and the contents that we have seen is there on your screen, that is lossless compression algorithm, run length coding, variable length coding, arithmetic coding. Those are all the lossless compression algorithms, followed by lossless image compression, and then lossy compression algorithms, and then two kinds of video compression technique, in that H.261 and H.263. And so we have seen the lossless compression algorithm introduction, and we have clearly stated that the lossless compression algorithms are to be used whenever the image data or whatever the multimedia data is there, which is very very important, and we cannot afford to lose the information. Then and then we go for the lossless compression. In lossless compression, though we get very less amount of compression, like hardly the image get compressed, the compression ratio is hardly in the range of 20s or 30s, that to maximum, and because of which we don't get much of the compression, but good thing is we don't kind of data. And one of the practical example for that is nothing but the WinZip kind of file, kind of application, where we ensure that whatever the n number of files that we will be having, we'll be using this particular application, where all those files will be zipped into one particular folder. Obviously the cumulative size of all the files and the size of the WinZip after the zip operation will be different totally. The zip file will have lesser amount of size, but as it won't be that high level of compression which we get with the lossy kind of compression. And whenever data is not very important, we can afford to lose some of the data. In that particular case, in that particular situation, we go for the lossy compression algorithms. Mostly when we apply the algorithms for the video signals, like a certain movie is there shoot like which has been shoot with an HD TV camera, but your the device which you are using does not permit you to work with such huge amount of data, or there are some memory issues. So in that case, or even with live streaming kind of thing also, where we don't have very high data rate, there we prefer to go with this kind of compressed videos, where the compression technique applied is nothing but the, or compression algorithm is nothing but the lossy compression. Now in this is what we have already seen in lossless compression algorithm. In previous video session, we have seen the run length coding, and we have seen the example of run length coding with the help of 1-bit gray level images, where we ensure if certain repetitive occurrence occur, like a repetitive pattern occur. So for that particular pattern, we try to go for coding for the length of that particular pattern. Like continuous 100 ones are there, then we go for coding accordingly in accordance with the length, and that is the reason why it is called as the run length coding. Here not very high level of compression achieved, but it is one of the very basic algorithm used for the lossless compression. Then let us go ahead today with the next lossless compression algorithm, which is nothing but the VLC, that is variable length coding. Now variable length coding is nothing but it depending upon the frequency of occurrence of the data. Like for example, if there is a certain letter we will be talking about, or certain sentence if we are talking about, then in that particular sentence if you need to apply the compression, then we need to go for the letters which are being used repetitively. Like let us take, say for example, say a word like following. So in that the F will be occurred only once, while there will be two L's, there will be two O's. So that way the frequency of occurrence of O and frequency of occurrence of L will be more. So instead of going for the common coding for all the letters altogether, like for example, if F is there which is occurring only once, then even for coding of that F, if we are using 2 bits, and if you are using 2 bits same for O and same 2 bits for L, so that should not happen, because if that happen, we won't be getting any kind of compression levels. So what VLC suggests is, if there are certain repetitive occurrences occur in the data, occurred in the media, then we will code them with lesser number of bits, so that we can save certain amount of space. And that is how the VLC work, that is how the lossless compression work in the algorithm for variable length coding. Now let us look with certain examples. The certain parts of data appear more frequently than others, so it would be more economic to assign fewer bits as their codes. So exactly what I was talking about, if certain data is occurring again and again, so instead of coding them with the similar way that we code the regular data, that won't be helpful for us to go for achieving the compression. If there are certain multiple repetitive occurrences, then we will prefer to go with coding them separately. So if more repetitive occurrences are there, it should be denoted by, or it should be coded with lesser number of bits, so that certain huge amount of data can be represented by less number of bits, and then we can save certain space over there. And that is what the main theme of how this VLC works. So certain part of data appear more frequently than other, so it would be more economic to assign fewer bits as their codes. This is known as variable length coding, VLC. The more frequently appearing symbols are coded with fewer bits per symbol, and vice versa. That is what we do in VLC. Now in VLC there are two different types of algorithms we have. First one is the Shannon-Fano algorithm, and we have the second one as Huffman coding. So let us go one by one. Let us first understand what exactly this Shannon-Fano algorithm is. So Shannon-Fano algorithm was independently developed by Shannon at Bell's labs and Robert Fano at MIT. The encoding steps of Shannon-Fano algorithm can be presented in the following top-down manner. So this is how this algorithm works, with only two number of steps that it follow. One is whatever the symbol coding that we are willing to go for, like whatever certain, like let us consider one example, then you will be in a position to understand it a better way. So if we take any word, and in that word what we do, we start sorting the symbols according to the frequency of occurrence. Like as example I was earlier giving you, if the word which is to be code, or the symbols which is to be code, if it is a word like following, so FOLLOWING, if this is the word. Now in this particular word we have one F, we have two O's, then we have two L's, one W, one I, one N, and one G. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 letters which are there with only frequency of occurrence as 1, while there are two letters which are having frequency of occurrence as 2. So we will not go ahead with, like, if we follow the normal coding way, in that particular way we will be having similar kind of coding pattern which is there for those 5 letters which are which occur only once, and then similar kind of coding pattern which appears more than one, or say twice in this particular case. So we don't go with that way in case of variable length coding. While what Shannon has suggested, like whatever the pattern that you will be getting, whatever the media that you will be getting, first try to sort it out with reference to the frequency of occurrence, and then divide this symbol into two parts, each with the approximate same number of count until all parts contain only one symbol. That means we need to apply arrange them in a descending way, like we will start with highest number of occurrences first, and then step by step we will try to go down till we reaches to the point that one symbol has occurred only once. Like that we follow the different steps in Shannon-Fano algorithm. So let us read out what exactly this algorithm is saying. First step that we follow here is sort the symbols according to the frequency count of their occurrences. So first of all, write down the word, or write down the symbol, write down the sentence, write down whatever it is there we need to go for coding. So write it down and then try to figure out what is the frequency of occurrence of each of the symbol. Then recursively divide the symbol into two parts, each with approximately the same number of count until all part contain only one symbol. So start dividing them based on their occurrences. This is what we are trying to say here in step number 2. So let me summarize this quickly. In Shannon-Fano algorithm, what we do is we first write down the symbol that we need to go for coding, then sort them according to the frequency of occurrences, and then arrange them into the descending order. Now here let us take one example of Shannon-Fano algorithm. To illustrate the algorithm, let us suppose that the symbol to be coded are the characters in the word hello. So for here the word here is HELLO. Then what we will be doing is, this is the word that we have to go for coding. Then the frequency of the count of this particular symbol is, like here if we go for how many symbols we will be having here, so altogether we have here 4 different symbols, that is H, E, L and O, with individually count as 1, 1, 2 and 1. And then we need to, this will be our step number 1, and then we will be going for step number 2, where we will be sorting them accordingly. So let us switch to the camera, where I'll explain you with the help of the marker and the board, where how do we go for the second step here. So just a minute, hang out with me. So as I was saying, this is the word that we have here, hello. So we have here total number of occurrences. So this is 1, 1. Here it is 1. This is second occurrence. So cumulatively for L we can count it as 2, and then for O it is 1. So the word that we will be getting for coding now will be converting as HELO with their count as 1, 1, 2 and 1. So this is what we will be coding, that is HELO with 1, 1, 2, 1. Now the next step will be go for applying the different steps in a way that we should go for dividing the descending order. So firstly, in step number 1, let us call it as a step number 1 P1, where we will be dividing it into two different ways. Here we will be having the word L, and then here we will be having the word H, comma E, comma O. So as I said, in first step P1, what we did is we divide them into, say, two ways. That is, here the frequency for occurrence is 2, and for all of these frequency of occurrence is 1, but total number of bits here are 3. So this way we can divide into, say, this is our step number 1. Now we need to divide them into or we need to assign them some codes. So as the Shannon-Fano says, depending upon the number of frequency of occurrences, so those who will be having higher frequency, those should be coded with the lesser number of bits. So here we have only two kinds of combination, that here all these codes are there with only one bit length. Here this code L will have the bit length as 2. So what I'll do here, I'll code this with a 0 and I'll code this with 1. Do you get this? So what I did here is L and rest of the other I have segregated. Reason is L is the one which is having the highest amount of occurrences, and all of these here are there available with the same amount of occurrences. Now in next step we need to go ahead with the next level of bifurcation. But as I told you, here already we have H, E and O, which are having only one number of occurrences. So there is nothing we call it as a higher occurrences or lower occurrences. So simply we have to do here is, in second step, what we will do here is, so first step we already have here readily, that is L we have. So we have here 0. Now on other hand I was having H, E and O. So let us split them into two different halves now. So we will go ahead with, so this one was there as it is. So now I have further divided into H, and then we have here E and O. So out of which L is the one who is having 2 occurrences, H is the one with 1, E and O both are with 1 occurrence only. So here I will go ahead with coding, defining it as a 0, and here I will go ahead with defining as 1. So there is no logic. You can take E also here and O also here and shift other two characters on right side. But as the sequence here goes with, say, H, E, L, O, out of which L I have selected and took it first because it is having higher number of occurrences, but there is no such case for H, E and O. So here that is the reason why I have as per sequence I have taken H first and E and O in latter stage. Now in third step what I'll do is I will further divide these two characters, because we need to go where we need to reach to a position where there will be individual character, individual symbol which we can code. So in third step, as I was saying, so in third step we have here, as per the earlier one, L was there with 2, then we have 0 and 1, then we further divided into H, which was only 1, so it goes with 0, here it was 1. Now I will further divide it into, say, E with 0 here, and then O with 1 here. So sorry, so it will be 1. So E and O both appeared as 1 occurrence. So here I'll go with 0, here I'll go with 1. So this way, now I can see here I have separated out L, separated out H, separately E, and separate O is there, and then I can go ahead with defining them, or I can go ahead with individually going for their coding. Now let us see how do we code this. So what we will do, we will write them down as per the sequence. So initially we go ahead with H, L, then H, then E, and then O. So how do we go ahead with coding? So L, what is the branch line here? This is the branch line which directly come with the first step only. So it directly have only one name attached in front of it, that is coding level it is 0 only. So L can code with the 0, with single 0 only. Now when we go ahead with coding the value H here, which is the next value here, so H we need to code, so we need to go for H, finding out here. So H will be initially, in order to reach to H, we need to pass through 1 and then take the next 0. I'm sorry. Then we need to go for next 0. So that way H can be defined as 1, which is followed by 0. So this is what I have written here, 1 followed by 0. Now the next character, which is nothing but E. So E, where I can find E, I can find out here. So to reach out to E, I have to pass through this one followed by one more 1 followed by 0. So the code for E will be 1, 1 and 0, while in order to go to 1, we need to follow the steps as 1 followed by one more 1 followed by another 1. So here will be 1, 1 and 1. So this is how the coding table will be completed, and the method is same for Shannon-Fano, and it is also same for the Huffman coding. Method doesn't change. Whenever we apply for coding, this is how we code, this is how we write the codes with reference to this particular diagram here. So what we have done here, in first step we segregate the number of symbol as per the occurrences, then we further sort them out, and in second step and then in the final step we ensure that every symbol will be separated out, and then we keep on going for individually coding of all of them. So here I can clearly see L is there, which is denoted by a letter 0, or it has been coded by 0. So here I can go ahead with the statement of Shannon-Fano that if higher number of bits are there, if higher number of repetitive occurrences are there, then obviously higher occurrences lesser number of bits to represent, so that we can save the data, and then vice versa. So here lesser occurrences are there, so they are represented by higher amount of bit data. So this is how the coding we do in case of the Shannon-Fano, and again the coding is the similar method is there to be followed for the Huffman coding as well. So this is what I have done, this is what I have told you now. This is the symbol, this is the count of their occurrences, and followed by this is the coding. Now let us go for what is this log to the base 2 1 by pi. Now this is nothing but the information about the amount of this details about the amount of information that every symbol carries. Now as the formula is defined for that the pi value here we first calculate. So pi value is given by the symbol count divided by the total count. So pi value we can define like here for letter L, we will be having the count of L as 2, but total number of symbols that we will be having in hello world, those are nothing but HELLO. So total 5 number of symbols are there, out of which the count for L is 2. So pi value for letter L will be equal to 2 divided by 5. Then we find out the entropy with the help of log to the base 2 1 upon and then we tends to calculate these values. So let us go ahead with the calculation here. We will use the calculator. So I have option here log to the base 2. So that is 1 upon pi. So if I say 1 upon pi, then it will be inverse of that, and pi value is nothing but the number of occurrences divided by the total number of count. So for L, pi value was 2 divided by 5. So here I can write 5 divided by 2 because it was already 1 divided by 5. So 1 divided by pi. So here the value for the entropy will be 1.32. Or if getting confused, I'll write it again. Log to the base 2. Its formula is 1 divided by pi. So I'll mention it very properly in a bracket. 1 divided by. So I'll put one more bracket here, and I'll write down the value of pi. It is 2 divided by 5 as per the formula. And then our answer that we get is 1 divided by 1.32. Now similarly, if we wish to go for finding the entropy value, that is information details value, which are present in H. So H is having number of occurrence as 1. So obviously its pi value will be 1 divided by 5. So let us find out the entropy value here. So log of 2. So it will be 1 divided by pi is nothing but 1 divided by 5. So I'll close this and hit enter. So here the value is 2.32. Then E also is 1 occurrence and total number of characters are 5. Similarly O, 1 occurrence and total number of value parameters as total number of characters are so the value for entropy will be remaining same for H, E and O, and it will only change for L. So here we can take the average of all of this. So average bit code if we took, so 1.32 plus 2.32 plus 2.32 plus 2.32 divided by 4 if we do, so average bit code we will be having here is 1.92. so in order to define for each character we will be taking 192 bits to represent one character. That is what the information contents of this particular symbol is concerned. Now let us try to understand how many after this particular coding that we have done in case of Shannon-Fan algorithm, how many bits that we have used. So here we have used defined L with code as 0. So we have used only 1 bit to represent L, but as 2 number of characters there, so total number of bits required as 2 into only 1 character is used, so 1. Then we rest for H, E and O we have only 111 count as a number of character. So whatever code is there, that will be the value of number of bits used. So this way we have here 1 into 2, that is nothing but 2, 1 into 3 is 3, 1 into 3 is 3. So O will be represented by 3 bits, E will be represented by 3, H will be represented by 2 and L will be represented by 2. Remember, code is 1 but number of bits used are 2. So that way total number of bits that we will be having now is 10, and total number of characters that we were having was 5 because H, E, L, L, O. So 5 characters and number of bits used are 10. So 10 divided by 5 if we do, the value is 2. So here we can easily say here the total number of bits used are 10, but characters are 5 because L is twice. So average number of bits required is required in case of the Huffman in case of the Shannon-Fano coding is 2, which is very much close to the average bit code value as per our calculation. And that is the reason why we can go for the Shannon-Fano algorithm, because it gives us the true value plus it can gives us the compression level up to a very decent value. So that is the reason why I can conclude here with this. This suggests that the minimum average number of bits to code each character in hello world could be at least 1.92, and in this example the Shannon-Fano algorithm uses an average of 10 divided by 5 equal to 2 bits to code each symbol, which is fairly close to the lower bound of 1.92, and apparently the result is satisfactory. The Shannon-Fano algorithm delivers satisfactory coding results for data compression, but it was soon outperformed and taken over by the Huffman coding method. So let me tell you very frankly, as far as operation is concerned, the Huffman coding and the Shannon-Fano coding both goes hand in hand. The operation, the working principle, the way the algorithm is executed, up to some extent it is reasonably same, but the Huffman turned out to be a little bit effective as compared to the Shannon-Fano. So hardly a very little difference is there. When we go for Huffman coding, most of the times Huffman coding and Shannon-Fano coding, the efficiency is exactly remains same, but in certain cases, in certain example, the efficiency value a bit increase in case of Huffman coding, and that is the reason why Huffman coding is mostly preferred in the day-to-day applications. Now what Huffman coding has done, or how Huffman coding works. So in contradiction to the Shannon-Fano, which is top-down the encoding steps algorithm, while what Huffman has done is it followed a bottom-up approach. Like what we did is we go for dividing the terms in the descending order. Like those who are having higher occurrences, we started from that value, and then we followed the top down approach. Like we keep on segregating the values or sorting the values as the values go down. But in case of Huffman coding, the bottom up approach is followed. Like here you can see in this particular diagram, we have earlier started with L in first step, but here in first step they have started with E and O, which are the list character which we have. Like here you can see, so E and O sorted out at last, but while in case of Huffman coding, E and O they have sorted in the first place itself, and then the E, after E and O, the H value is sorted out, and at last the L value is sorted out. And this is how the bottom up approach is followed in case of Huffman coding. So as I told, Shannon-Fano and Huffman coding are close in performance, and Huffman coding will always at least equal to the efficiency of Shannon-Fano coding. So it has become a predominant coding method of its type. So both the algorithms takes a similar amount of processing power. It seems sensible to take the one that gives slightly better performance, and that too in certain cases only. Otherwise both are almost same. So Huffman was able to prove that the coding method cannot be improved on with any other integrated bit width coding stream. So as far as the VLC method is concerned, variable length method is concerned, so Huffman coding was the dead end. Like further you cannot go ahead with any kind of compression. So this is the end, and in VLC there are only two kinds of types available. Then we have next is arithmetic coding, followed by the working of arithmetic, then lossless image compression and it few of its types. But I guess this is enough for the today's session. So in next session we will try to cover the arithmetic coding as well as the different algorithms for image compression as well. So till then, thank you so much. Stay home and take care of yourself. Thank you.